I actually had a small crush on Simar. Maybe stop feeling cool even now. That is so pathetic. That is so pathetic. We're married, we have a son. Hi, welcome to episode 2 of Partners in Chaos. We are back. I am Tarini.
And I'm Simar.
And today we'll be talking about how we met, our love story, and everything in between.
Long distance, different religions, and how sort of everything came together for us in the end.
Without further ado, let's get started from the beginning.
We are from the same city. Amritsar being a small city, people tend to know most of the people of their age, especially, right? But she went to a convent girls' school, right? And so therefore, for her exposure to boys was probably limited. In London at the time, I was doing my graduation.
What year? Maybe you should tell them the year.
2009. 2009.
Yeah.
I was visiting India and I was out with my friends, and one of the guys I was with had a crush on Tarini, and we were on the Gehri route.
Who are not from Punjab and don't understand the Gehri route, they keep going around the same area and they just check each other out in cars and bikes. It is, looking back, it's super lame. I mean, we didn't have Instagram back then. You don't even talk. I don't know what the point of this is. And I remember there were these signs that you pass a smile, you kind of honk, you just maro the dipper.
So I was with my friend. I didn't know Tarini at the time, and she passed by, and I don't know, we honked or something. But anyway, that night I was staying at my friend's house. I was a bit drunk, and then this other friend of mine, he said let's just annoy this friend of ours who had a crush on Tarini by sending Tarini
A
some
text.
random Facebook message or something. So I found her on Facebook. It was 3 a.m. in the night or something. I was drunk and I typed something and I thought I was pretty cool. Now that I look back at it, maybe Tarini's gonna put some of the messages we shared, how it began. It's pretty embarrassing. I thought I was wow, I was this super cool guy coming from London and I'm gonna impress her, whatever. So I sent this message to her, genuinely forgot about the fact that I had sent her this message. And the next morning I woke up and I did somehow get a reply from her to my very shitty, stupid, definitely incorrect grammar.
Yeah. So I'm going to now butt in because giving some context. Before people are like that, I reply to some random guy's DMs just like that. I actually had a small crush on Simar. Maybe stop feeling cool even now. That is so pathetic. That is so pathetic. We're married, we have a son.
She doesn't admit this very often.
Yeah, I had a crush on Simar and I did not know his name. I'd seen him around. I thought he was cute. And then I get a text from him and I recognized his picture from Facebook. I'm like, oh, okay, it's that guy. And he wrote a very a kind of a quirky, slightly snarky, sly message.
Trying to be funny, not really. I mean, maybe works on teenagers, which he was at the time. Wouldn't work on anybody sensible.
I was bored and I just replied with some more sarcasm, and then he got back with more sarcasm. We kind of debated on whose grammar
I think we were talking about we were both English editors of our school magazine. There's something
grammar
really stupid.
Was better and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely not mine. My grammar is still not as good as Tarini.
Okay. That has also never been admitted by you. Okay. But yeah. So we spoke briefly on Facebook, and then I guess we stayed in touch.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little bit of...
We stayed in touch, okay.
I mean, first we just spoke on Facebook, right?
I mean, we were trying to Skype. Wherever we moved on to Facebook, MSN, whatever we were doing, we were kind of flirting with each other. There's a background to it. There were some common people in between.
Yeah.
At the time, I was talking to another girl who was also Tarini's friend, and sort of there was this very childish scene of who likes who, etc., etc. And then between that, we both sort of did like each other.
Yeah.
And we carried on.
I guess we had a very instant chemistry. At the time, we had common interests, which we don't have now. We don't have those common interests.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe other people can tell this as well. Somehow, anything I would send her a song I'm listening to or a show I'm watching. Oh, I love it.
No, I wasn't lying.
Exactly the song
Why would I lie?
I like, or this is the movie I like, just doesn't work. Now I can literally send her a show recommendation. She wouldn't watch it, and a week later she would have some follower of her who she doesn't even know send a random message, oh,
That's so
this
mean.
is pretty good, and she'll be like, oh, let's watch this. It's like, I sent you the same thing, and she doesn't like
Yeah.
it if
If
I
you're
say.
married, you get it,
Yeah.
right?
So anyway,
So
those were good times in the beginning where she kind of pretended she liked everything.
no,
I
I didn't
liked.
pretend. We did have common interests. And then, by the way, after that Gehri thing and after Simar texting me, you left for the UK
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
pretty
mean,
quickly.
we
I think
actually did not
we didn't
meet. It
meet.
was just a matter of a week or so, and then I left back for London, and then yeah, we just kept in
Yeah,
touch
we kept in
online.
touch and we spoke on Skype and MSN Messenger. And then I remember he wanted to talk on phone and I was super nervous. I don't know why I thought he'd have some British accent or something and he didn't have any of that. Little disappointment there. But anyway, then we spoke on the phone and I just remember us talking
Yeah,
like till
we
3
spoke a
a.m.,
lot. I mean, yeah,
4
we.
a.m.
I don't know what it was. We just connected, and and also, by the way, like she's dated. She dated somebody before. I've dated, of course, before, and
Plenty.
but we. No, I wouldn't say plenty, but never had I felt that I could talk to somebody about my family, about my ambition, about my work. Everything
Yeah.
else before that was very on the surface kind of stuff. And with Tarini, I think maybe like 4 months into talking to her, I was 20, she's 19, and I'm telling her that you've come too soon in my life because you're the kind of girl I would like to marry, and but I don't want to get married soon. So maybe I don't know, like, should we date? Should we not? And then we were like, we'll be friends, and we don't want to be the mushy couple.
Did we do that?
Yeah. There's a long time we used to laugh people, why are people so mushy,
Oh
and then we
yeah.
turned into
Then we
this
were
super
like, we
mushy
won't
couple
be
ourselves.
using any of these cutie words like babu and
Yeah.
cutie and all that. And we don't even ask. We've not left any name. I don't even know. Like the
I mean,
list is super long.
going back through that Facebook chat, you see the evolution of who we were, like trying to be these cool people, to
Witty.
like we'll be friends, and see later how things work out, and then turning very instantly falling for each other, and then doing everything mushy under the sun,
Yeah.
and then just like making it our lives agenda to somehow
Yeah, and I
be
remember
together.
like at the time I was in college, and I remember everybody used to go out partying to meet boys or with their boyfriends. I used to stay home on Skype talking to Simar. Like we used to actually have our dinner together on Skype and talk to each other. And
I'm sure other people would have done that in long distance. We'd like plan a dinner that
yeah,
at 8 p.m. whatever time we'll sit across each other on Skype and have our meals, and sometimes even watch something that she's watching, I'm watching, and talk about it.
I remember you had something called calling cards.
There used to be these international calling cards. You would buy like £5 or something, and have like 90 minutes. I remember like my roommates being really mad at me that why are
Hogging the
phone
phone.
bills are so high. That's the, like, for the Gen Z people, they'll be like, which world are they from?
Yeah, I want to say that we had started talking in July, and in August, my birthday is there, and 27th of August. And Simar sent me this. I literally, quite literally, out of a movie. I was sleeping. I woke up in the morning, and there was like a 5 feet bouquet in front of me, and this DKNY watch, which he had sent to me from London. I don't even know how he sent that to me. And I remember being like, oh my God, I just started talking to this guy. Why is he sending me these expensive gifts? And I can't really accept it. I mean, I don't want to sound like somebody who had gift diya to maan gayi types, but I think in that moment I truly felt special because you had done something from so far away that I felt like I really mattered to you.
But yeah, I mean, apart from the gifts, I had also written some poems or
Yeah,
something
he
for
wrote
you,
poems. He
which
used to call me
was
She Star.
She's Star, because her name is Tarini, and
Yeah.
Tarini, Tara, and Nee is her, so I kind of made it
Yeah.
She Star, and
That was such a long time.
but it worked, right? It worked. So
Yeah.
tip over
And you
here
sent me
is
those cards that had my photos printed. I have those cards in Amritsar in the cupboard. I still have those cards.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
if you are aiming for somebody who's like hotter than you are, then these are the tips. Like, write a poem, but then also spend money.
I mean, do what you want to do, honestly. But anyway, then come December, then you came to India and we met for the first time.
Yeah.
And our meeting was Oh my God, I was shivering. I was so nervous. I couldn't sleep the night before. Even though we had talked, we never physically met. I thought, what is he going to think of me? Is he going to be disappointed that I don't look as nice as in photos? And weird thoughts coming to my head. And I remember he came to the airport. I came to pick him up and he hugged me. And I had, obviously, I was on a limited pocket money. And मैंने जोड़ के 2,000 या 3,000 रुपए साइड पे रखे थे to give him a gift because I knew, like, I mean, he was working, so he had more money than me and he had sent me this watch and everything. मेरे पास पैसे ही नहीं थे to even compete with those kind of gifts. So I spent about 2,400, which was a lot for me. I bought you a Tommy Hilfiger wallet for 2,300. And you came to the airport. I thought I will give it to you at the airport, but you came and then you were paying the porter and I saw that you had an Armani wallet. And I'm like, ये तो Armani वानी use करता है, ये कहाँ Tommy Wommy use करेगा? I'm not giving him this wallet. Forget about it. Yeah, I was like, no, maybe this guy is too high-end or something. I don't know. I didn't give that to him. And then later on, after a day or two, I remember I kind of put it somewhere and for him to find so that I don't see it. And then, like, I saw that he had put his money in the wallet and, he's like, thank you so much and everything. I don't think at that time I had told you that I was embarrassed about the whole Armani thing.
Yeah, much later. But I used that wallet for like good 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Good 5 or 6 years I used the Tommy wallet that she gave until like it completely got ripped apart.
Yeah. And then I think we kind of met every once a year. And then I think I graduated and time was to kind of find master's options and Simar would insist that I come to the UK. And I would be like, no, because I didn't want to put financial pressure on my parents. And then what happened is that I almost got into my dream college in India, but almost didn't. Like at the last minute, things didn't work through.
That's the time I'd suggest. It's not like I was pushing you, but I suggested why don't you try colleges in UK?
He suggested, I talked to my parents. My parents were like, no way is this happening. Don't even think about it. And I remember quite literally, I don't know if you know, I literally like lay down under a kambal, under a blanket on my bed for 2 days, very depressed that ab main UK nahi ja rahi hu. And because they had said a hard no.
She was like, I'm a bit depressed, I'm gonna go to sleep. And then I am there and I usually don't like giving up on things. So I tend to, I'm kind of a startup sales guy. So I've always been that way. So I was like, okay, no, let me still give this a shot. And so she slept and I kept up the entire night and I wrote this 3 or 4 page letter on her behalf to her dad explaining, how good it would be to get that exposure, come to London and also there are opportunities after that as well if you are from a good college in London, even if you're going back to India. And she sent the letter to her dad and then I think she was taking a nap or something because she didn't have the guts to go and talk to her dad about it. And kudos to her parents as well, who then her dad came to her and kind of went like,
please don't,
ja Simran ja ji le apni zindagi. I think he actually said that, ja Simran. And yeah, that's how, and she called me and I was like, really, this is happening?
Went to Nottingham. Yeah. He was not in Nottingham, he was near London. I'll never forget that moment because I was seeing you nearly after a year and a half or something. And I remember you were at the gate of my student accommodation. I was inside and I waved at you and you were like waving at me. And I ran to you and you ran to me and we hugged. And I quite literally remember कि सिमर कितना बड़ा हो गया है ना? Like he's looking like a man. पहले boy था because we had literally not met in such a long time.
Living our dream life. Up and down between London. I was working, she's studying, and we were kind of like taking time off to go and meet each other. I felt responsible. I felt like there's nobody here, so I have to look after her. I would take her out to buy groceries
bedding,
and she used to find it so I mean, now look how tides have turned. Now she's the one who thinks I don't pay attention to all of this. But she was like, why do we need this? Why do you need like a mattress cover? Like, what is that
mattress
for?
Protector
And a mattress protector and all of that.
Bath mat क्यों चाहिए?
Yeah, I mean, I also taught her cooking
Yeah,
in
which
the
is
beginning.
laughable now that I look back.
I taught her how
Laughable.
to make dal, how to
I
make
remember he
rice.
taught me how to make rice. हमने rice का ऐसे boil करना आता बस. And so I learned rice, I learned dal, atta guna, all of
Yeah,
that.
like the basics is if you
Yeah,
teach somebody how to cook masala and
yeah,
how to make chapati and rice,
yeah,
that's it. You're done, right? So
yeah.
I still take credit that even though she's an amazing cook and
You really
I
shouldn't. You really shouldn't.
and then somehow because we were getting a lot of weight and I would think that Tarini knows a lot about fitness because she used to be like, oh, I only ate wholemeal bread or I only ate this kind of milk or whatever. She didn't know anything, but back then, so she convinced me that if you want to have a foot long sub, as long as you are having it in wholemeal bread, you can add double cheese slice to it and you can do whatever. से करे पिज्जा हो गया, कल ज्यादा हो गया था पिज्जा, आज
Footlong
सबवे
खा लेते हैं.
होल मील ब्रेड में.
Subway.
एंड आई वाज लाइक हाँ यार
Southwest
आज तो
sauce.
डाइट डे हो गया, होल मील सब में मैंने खाया.
We traveled a little.
Yeah, I mean, so she met my sister for the first time in UK and they got along. Like my sister and Tarini are more like best friends, like
Really sweet and always being there for me.
so yeah, so
Instant friendship, instant connect over there. Then we traveled around Europe a
yeah,
bit
we
on a
traveled, we
budget,
went
major
to
major
yeah,
budget.
like how students travel
Yeah,
again, like of course all of this is privilege, we kind of understand that. Yeah, with whatever funds I was working, but like obviously I wasn't earning crazy amount of money, but with limited funds we would go and do these weekend trips to Spain, to Portugal, and sometimes with my sister and cousins and
yeah.
friends, and sometimes it was just two of us. We like did live
We
our
did
dream
have, we
life.
did do a lot of things which a lot of people our age were not getting to even dream about.
It was after 2.5 years of long distance in which we would
Yeah,
have hardly spent more than like 30-40 days across those 2-3 years put together.
yeah.
So we got to this stage because we really stuck to each other. I think we are more than thankful for it because we got to actually
Get to
know
know
each
each
other
other
much
better.
better. We saw each other go through struggles. I was going through my career finding journey. Tarini was of course completing her masters at the time. She also had to figure out what is her next step.
Important to mention here that I feel like what I said earlier as well, that I feel like that 1 year of living together on and off, whatever that was, really changed everything. Live-ins, I know like they have like a taboo attached to them, but I feel like they can really tell you whether getting married to that person, like what it's gonna. Then I came back to India first before Simar did, and I was completely lost what to do. I joined Times of India for a bit, left it a few months later, and then Simar was also trying to make things work for him in the UK, and then he decided to come back to India. Did his GMAT, scored really well. I had my doubts, by the way, but anyway,
She still doubts me
yeah,
on a daily basis.
yeah. He got into Indian School of Business, and I was that time in Amritsar. I was teaching at the time. We were quite
I
busy.
think we used to have a lot of
Yeah.
fights at that time as well because I just did not have time. For me, it was, I think, because Tarini had been saying for the last 5 or 6 years we need to get married, and I thought, okay, now my timeline has to match with that, which is why I was trying to make sure that I land in a place where I can then go and
Yeah, but at the
marry
time,
her.
a lot of my friends were getting married, and I was thinking कि मुझे peer pressure, and I was like मेरे को भी शादी करनी है, मेरा तो boyfriend है, मैं क्यों नहीं कर रही हूँ शादी? My parents were not at all worried, by the way. They were absolutely okay with letting me wait as long as I wanted. And then Simar landed a good job, and he came to my
No,
house.
I think you've missed a couple of things. So I graduated, and post graduation, of course, I had a job offer and all of that. But then I had come back to my hometown, and it was a month before, in between my job starting and my me graduating. And at the time, I think what had happened was my dad, I was sitting on, we were having lunch, and my dad basically said that कि तेरे लिए कोई रिश्ता है. And my sister who's sitting across me, again the one who lives in UK, she's also in India at the time, and she looked at me and I thought, okay, maybe it's time now. So I gave her this nod and she understood. So she went on and she's like, Papa Simar, has someone. And my dad is like, gone. So my sister is like, oh, there's this girl who Simar de London ch paddi si, And my dad is like, oh, acha, acha, ha, ha, uda mainu pata hai. And I'm like, how does my dad know? But then I figured out later that maybe through my cousins or somebody in the family would have told, but he would have probably thought, okay, maybe it's not serious or whatever. But so my dad and mom and everybody's like, okay, we should call Tarini today and she should meet my parents, because she's already met all three of my sisters. So the people she had to meet was my parents. And then she came that evening to my place.
Yeah. I
Do you want to
came
say how
I
you?
came in the evening to his place. I decided to wear a salwar kameez. I don't know why. And I wore that and I entered his house, and I still remember like Mama Simmer's mom was there, and I guess she expected I'm gonna like do peripona, and I thought I'm gonna do namaste, because how can I do peripona, like shadi thodi ho gayi hai hum logo ki. So I entered and she's like, and I'm like, the most awkward entry ever. But anyway, his family was super nice, super sweet to me. His dad at the time was very shy. And
So I'll tell you, my dad. So, okay, my dad loves to cook and he is amazing at cooking, but he cooks like, non-vegetarian stuff like mutton and all. So he asks me, he's like, okay, so what does she like? Does she like lamb, or, does she like chicken or fish, or what should I make for her? And I had to look him in the eye and say that, Papa, she's vegetarian. And I could just see like his heart breaking or whatever. And but he didn't say anything. He's like, अच्छा ते फिर कि पनीर खाएगी? And I was like, yeah, maybe. So he went and then he got like a lot of stuff
yeah.
and because she's coming over. And then like Tarni was there sitting with my mom, and my sisters and my dad had got all the stuff from outside. And he came in, and Tarini got up to now wish my dad, and she thought, okay, now this time I know what to do. I'm going to go and touch his feet or something. And my dad is like, oh, okay, just bless you. And he went to his room, gave the stuff. And then 30 minutes had passed. He kept waiting that my dad would come out, and he wasn't coming out. And so my sister went in, and she's like that Tarini is there, and we're just waiting. You should come and meet her. So my dad is like that, but I should meet her parents, not her. So she's like, but why? She's here. You should meet her first and get to know her. And then he's like to my sister, he's like, "Beta, manu na sharam aandi hai."
Oh. Yeah. That was the first meeting that I had with Simmer's family. And shortly afterwards, my Simmer came to meet my parents. My mom, I had been contemplating to tell my parents for a while, and I think my mom had an inclination, because when you're in love, you're a butterfly and you're all, I don't know, chanchal or whatever. She kind of figured from my body language, I don't know. And she asked me, are you seeing someone? I told her about Simmer, and she said, you have to tell Papa, you can't hide it from him.
But she had some hint.
Inkling to say.
My house was, there's a garden in between, like a public park, and opposite that was Tarini's grandmother's house. And so like couple of times you would have met in that park, or she would have met my
No,
sisters
nothing
or
like
somebody.
that. My
No,
mom,
I think
yeah.
no, it did happen. The Mali had told your grandmother, and the grandmother
So
had
how is
told
this
your mom
relevant?
that she's dating a Sardar boy,
What?
and something on those lines.
How?
I'm just saying she had a bit
So
of a.
I felt it was time to tell her. I told her about Simmer. She said, you have to tell Papa. I told her, please, not now. She said, no, you have to tell. You have 2-3 days to tell him yourself. And then I sat across my father, my sister, my mother, and I mustered up the courage to tell my father. He was taken aback, shut himself up in a room and didn't talk. I didn't know what that was. I think he was just too stunned, because I think he didn't expect me to hide this from him. I understand that reaction. And a few days later, I kept saying, "Ek baari aap usko mil lo, ek baari aap usko mil lo," because I knew that once they meet him, they'll be more reassured. Abhi, it just sounds like a very scary thing, but it's not that scary. And then I think about a week or two later, Simmer came to meet my parents. And yeah, he won them over, I think.
I don't know. It wasn't that easy. Like your dad wasn't as easy to read. Your mom was. Like when I left, I kind of knew that, and I've done. I mean,
You
my
prep like
track
an
record.
interview.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. So
Yeah.
I probably worked harder in interview prep to meet her parents than I did for my actual job interviews. My mom was actually surprised. She's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you making notes before going to her house?" And I was like, "That's fine too." all the answers I have to rehearse, because I'm that sort of a guy. I like to, prep and go and do things. But anyway, like, I had got the idea that her mom likes me. Her dad was very nice to me, but again, dads being dads, they don't show as much.
Yeah.
I wasn't as sure when I left, and then she was calling me, and
No, I didn't call you. My parents didn't give me any. So I could see the meeting is going well. I could tell he's done a good job, and my parents look a little impressed. But when I asked them, "What do you think?" they were like, "Haan, theek hai." I was like, "Batao." I wanted to say that, yeah, amazing, but they were holding back. They didn't want to make me too excited. And then I think for the next, 6 months or so, they met you a couple of times, if I'm not wrong. And our parents met maybe a year later from that, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
So this was what year? I think
2014.
14.
I think
Yeah.
2014 is when we met each other's parents,
Yeah.
and then 2015 is when our parents
Our
met
parents
each other.
met each other.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's also a very
Cute
nice
story.
very cute story. So again, because sort of different backgrounds, because culturally slightly different, even though Amritsar Punjab is very similar, but like Hindu Punjabi and Sikh Punjabi, and then my parents are also a bit older than her parents, and so there wasn't as many common people in between. There were a couple, like some of my good friends' parents were friends with Tarini's parents as well, so kind of they vouched for me and my family. I don't know however that works, but then a year into it, they finally met. So they came to my place to meet my parents and my family, and we were all sitting together. Okay, now I know Tarini's sister very well, right? And Tarini knew my sister very well. She even knew my brother-in-law, and we were all sitting together, and we were laughing and joking, whatever. And our parents were sitting quietly. Okay,
because they were the only ones who didn't
two strangers.
know. Yeah.
Because I had met her parents, she had met my parents, so we were all friendly with each other apart from the two parents. Okay, so now, like 30 minutes or 40 minutes into the conversation, my middle sister is like very good with people,
very intuitive,
and she kind of
sensed that,
and she came to them and she's like, why don't you guys go and spend some time together in a room?
Usually,
so
usually the girl and the boy go in the room and talk. Our parents went in the room to talk to each other. They were the only ones who didn't know each other.
Yeah, exactly. And so they are sitting in that room, and the room is locked. Okay, and almost like 1 hour has gone by, and now we are getting a bit anxious and worried, like what are they talking? Are they getting along? Did they like
have a fight?
What just happened? Why did they not come out? So then we sent my elder sister to go in and check, and then she didn't come out. Another 30 minutes have passed. Then I was like, what's happening? So then we are getting restless, and so I went and knocked on the door, and the door opened, and our moms are hugging each other.
Everyone's
and they have
crying.
tears in their eyes, and like, oh Bhabhi ji, ये वो नहीं, ये तुम्हारा बेटा है, तुम्हारी बेटी है. And like, oh, thank God, finally I think now it is on the right path, and after 7 or 8 years of dating, we are finally going to be able to get married and be accepted by each other's families, and we don't have to lie to our families anymore. So it was like this amazing moment for us.
I remember we took photos. It was really, really a beautiful day.
Yeah, and even till date, like my parents and her parents get along really well.
Yeah, which I never expected. I always tell Simar that even if we get married, I don't see our parents being friends, but surprisingly, in touch wood, they stay in touch, they meet often, and we are
and
here.
They both kind of culturally adjusted to each other, right?
Did.
So my parents are now in their kind of mid 70s.
And my parents are in their 60s
and a bit, so my dad used to drink but stopped drinking like some 10-15 years ago, and then Tarini's parents, even though don't drink as much now, but are like kind of social drinkers, enjoy a drink here and there. So first time her parents came to my house for a dinner between them, my mom, who's like never had a sip of alcohol in her life, is taking a bottle of vodka to offer to Tarini's mom, who's getting embarrassed, saying that no, it's okay, I don't like, it's not like I have to drink, I just drink socially. But between the way they have accommodated each other is amazing, and they share a very good relationship. So
and then I think 6 to 8 months later, we got married. We got married when demonetization happened. So we also had a Roka in between, by the way. So after that day, our parents met. I think a week later or 3-4 days later, we had a Roka, which is like the announcement of engagement in Punjab. Our Roka is amazing because I was out of my mind drunk on my
Yeah.
Roka, even though
There
I'm
are
meeting my in-laws for the first time, like extended family and all that. I
yeah,
was just
yeah,
like, अब मुझे कोई रोक नहीं सकता सिमर से शादी करने के लिए.
yeah.
And I was dancing on top of the speakers.
Yeah,
So
there are
was
videos
Simar.
of us
Yeah,
dancing on top of the speaker like crazy people.
I was just so happy.
And then after that function, my dad actually told me for the subsequent functions, you are the host, okay? So the host should not get drunk themselves. You have to take care of other people. But I think that was like just the occasion. I think we
Yeah.
were just so happy. And of course, eventually my dad was also dancing on the speaker, and her
Even
dad
my
was dancing
father.
on the speaker. And the friend, who we owe a lot to, who got us together, who's kind of the common friend, Anand, he was the one who's the reason we got together in the first place. His dad was also somebody who kind of then was vouching for me because he was Tarini's dad's friend. And then on the day when we got, this Roka, Anand was the happiest. He was getting everybody together and dancing with all of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, even though he's not there anymore, but he's the reason we are together.
Then a few months later, we got married in Amritsar. We had a Gurdwara wedding. It was just the most special occasion. Yeah, that's how we met and got married, and have been married since. This was nearly 8 years ago. We now have a son.
So in the end, it works out, is the message over here. I mean, throughout the 7 years of dating each other, and after that, now we've been married for almost 9 years, 16 years together. Plenty of times where there's doubt that comes in, that whether it's going to work out or not. But even to the extent of while we were planning our wedding, even then we used to have fights about so much stuff, because both sides families have expectations on how things should go, and there are these silly arguments, and you think at that time that, oh, is it going to work out or not. But if your love is stronger than your ego, then you'll find a way, right? If it's not as strong, then yeah, even the smallest of things will make it fall apart. That's how right? That's how we knew that we were meant to be together.
And destiny and luck. All of that. So yeah, this is the story of how we met. Let us know your stories in the comments, how you met, if you could relate to anything about our stories. And if you've ever been in long distance, whatever your fun stories are, do share with us in the comments. And yeah.
And follow this handle
on Instagram, Partners in Chaos Pod, and subscribe to our channel for more such content. Bye.